HTML it has to use, what CSS it has to use, so what TypeScript logic it has to use, that is defined by metadata. Metadata tells about what the CSS and HTML that is being used by the component, so that template can access that, and through a directive it injects into application. So directive is responsible for injecting that particular component into our application. So technically directive is like an element which injects components into our application, and our application starts functioning and using those components. So here, this is the basic architecture of Angular application. Remember, we are in the beginning stage. So we learned only high level design. Low level design means inside component, how it works, inside service, how it works, how template works, how directive works. In detail, we will discuss about that once we start working with them. That means components, nothing but one by one detailing we will see. So components are the building blocks for Angular application, building blocks for Angular application. So what it actually contains, that means, so you can simply say that it comprises of UI styles and logic. It comprises of UI styles and logic. And a template is nothing but, a template is technically, how do we define a template? Actually, a template is a predefined component that can be rolled out across various pages. That means template is a predefined component that can be rolled out across pages. That means the component related functionality can be injected into application through template. And usually metadata is nothing but, so it comprises of information. It comprises of information required for Angular component. It comprises of information required for Angular components. That means it contains information about Angular components. That will be better. It comprises of information about Angular component. So Angular component. Information about Angular component means which HTML page. So which HTML page or which CSS file or what logic it is using. All this is defined in metadata. And a directive is nothing but it injects a component into application. Directive have a lot of functionalities. So actually directive, it returns markup. It can extend markup, and it can make the markup more interactive. These are all the functionalities actually a directive can handle, that you will detailedly understand about. But this is the basic architecture of an Angular application. That means how Angular application works. Here we will learn one by one everything detailedly. Then you will get more clarity and understanding, because we will start one by one, components, services, templates, everything. Then you will get more clarity. So that is the basic architecture of an Angular application. In the background, once see, so Angular project is created, ready. It has installed all the libraries. Required. And after installing all the libraries, you can see, so finally the Angular application is ready. It will show you some issues related to Git, because Angular application can be synchronized with your Git so that it can directly work with Git. That is not required as of now, so you can ignore that, right? So it is asking configure the Git so that I can collaborate your project with the Git. So we don't need that initially. Fine. So Angular application is ready. So you can open the Explorer and you can see that in our C drive, Angular projects, so shopping app, all the repository is copied, ready. All the repository is ready. So once it is ready, open that project in Visual Studio Code. That means once the project is ready. So once the project is ready, now what you have to do is next step, open the project, open Angular application, Angular app in VS Code, right? So open that in VS Code. Let's open the Visual Studio Code and we will access it. Right. So here, let's open folder, open folder. And the folder is in Angular projects, shopping app folder. Open that shopping app folder. So, and you will see the Angular project architecture. That means infrastructure. This is the Angular project infrastructure. You can see all the files it is having, all the files and folders it is having, predefined everything. Now, as a developer, we need to understand what these are and what are their responsibilities. Because you are going to work with this, then you should know what they are and what is their responsibilities. So application is ready. You can even start the application. So what we have to do is, after opening Angular application in Visual Studio Code, that means which one you have to open? Shopping app, right? Shopping app you have to open. Then what you can do is open terminal. Terminal you can open through control backtick, control plus backtick, right? Open terminal and run the command. Run the command. You can use ng hyphen ng server hyphen open. Or first you try only ng server. You can also use npm start, or you can simply use ng serve. So any one of these two, ng serve. Initially do this. So that means open the terminal, control backtick, and you run here ng serve. So these all commands, I will give you a list of all the commands which are used step by step. Situation wise, we will discuss these commands. Later, we will use all these commands at one place, I will tell you. Now see, it is asking, would you like to share your privacy policies with Google so that it can, Google Angular team can suggest you all the privacy related points up to date. That's not required at this level. So no. So at a enterprise level, you can try them, right? As of now, later we will learn about that. Okay, enter. Now, what it is doing is it is compiling, it is building your application. While building and compiling the application for the first time, right? So every time when you are making any changes, those changes will be updated directly to the output. First time it is compiling. After compiling, so while compiling, it will identify the issues in your code. If everything is fine, then okay. Otherwise, it will show the errors, what the errors are there, some logic errors, reference errors. And if everything is fine, then actually what happens is your application starts. So that means your application